honestly, like I think a lot of people over here are much more serious about their careers than I was, and though she alluded to that also. Uh, for me, it was like I didn't have any aspiration or any clear direction of what I wanted to do, and I just followed the crowd mostly. So even back in school, I recognized that if you do well in school, then everyone just thinks that you are smart, and that's what I thought. Okay, chalo theek hai, this is good. This is what we should try and do. And then I realized that most of the people are going into engineering. So I was like, okay, let me give the local entrance test and.
You never tried for the IITs or?
Nahi, so that's interesting. So I did my 11th and 12th in Hyderabad. It's called intermediate. So, and this was in those typical, I mean, there it's Sri Chaitanya, Narayana and all. I don't know if anyone knows that. So they just basically hammer you into just studying. So those guys actually told me, why don't you go into this IIT entrance or even AIEEE, etc. And they actually pushed me into one of those because they were like, hey, your marks are good. And then I went there and realized that, hey, these guys are really smart and I'm not at the top over here. And I really need to work hard. So, but why should I? Because in the other class I was better. I left that. So I actually went back and I was like, hey, I don't want to do this.
You think it was a mistake though?
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, when I sit, it is a mistake. There's a lot of, I mean, I don't think it's just laziness. I think it's also like fear of probably not doing really well, right? So I don't think I had any perseverance or grit or resilience at that point of time. Things were easy, and I was like, hey, if it's easy, why do I need to make it tough? A lot of people don't even get into engineering. So if I can get into engineering using the regular route, why do I need to, stress to get into IITs and all? So yeah, that's what I did. I told them, "Nay, I don't want to do this," and I went back, and then even honestly, I did still end up giving AIEEE and the like other entrance tests, etc. So I cracked Pilani, NIT, and all. But even then, like, and coming back to family, like the opinion I had gotten was, you know what, food is not good in Pilani. So, and like, I mean, I was like 20-year-old and like, I'm a total foodie, he knows. So I was like, no, I can't leave my like, chicken biryani and all. So,
I mean, it sounds that he's making a story, but it's actually true. Imagine he said no to Bits Pilani because he felt the food there won't be good. Also, a level of, I guess, innocence slash ignorance, but well.
hi, innocence, ignorance, and like, yeah, actually, ignorance is the big part because I really didn't see the big deal. So, I mean,
Do you think it's also because you didn't want to be away from your family a lot?
no, actually, I was away from my family. They were still in the Middle East. So it wasn't that.
Okay.
It's just
The food.
food, maybe a little bit of like discomfort also in the sense that, hey, I'm in this city. I'm anyways away from family. Why do I need to change gears again? Right. So, and even there, I chose the college which is probably close to where I stay because like I wanted a bike. And if I choose a college which is very far from home, then I wouldn't get to ride it. So I chose something which was in like Banjara Hills. It's one of the like popular places over there, and with a lot of good food joints, etc. So yeah, that was my decision criteria, unfortunately. And yeah, that led to me doing engineering, and there also it was the same thing. Ke, haan, marks late jao, and then
This is the reason why we have, InsideIIM.com and all the other InsideCampus.com, because this, we want to kind of now ensure people don't take decisions like this. Like you, I'm
yeah.
sure people would spend like hours and hours discussing, even when they buy like a mobile phone these days. But, Banjara Hills, food joints, bike, तो हैदराबाद में कर लेते. Who wants to go to Bits Pilani? Like, I just think about the incredulity of the decision making. But anyway, go ahead, Touseef.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot of examples of what you shouldn't do from from what I'm going to say. But see, there was still one thing that I think has helped me, which is I was a little curious, and I was really interested in just like challenging myself intellectually a little. Right. So even in engineering, like I had a problem of lack of exposure. Like no one told me that there are these things like IITs, and I didn't have enough curiosity to try and figure this out on my own. No one told me that there are these things called IIMs also. So like during engineering, I was just bored. Ke, theek hai, I go to classes and then I come back. It's not really that difficult, especially considering like the college that I was going to. So then there was this friend of mine, and I asked him, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he was like, "Hey, I'm giving this entrance exam." I was like, "What is this about?" And he told, "There's this thing called CAT," uh, and then I started reading up, and I was like, you know what, like this place that he goes to is 20-25 minutes away from where I stay, and then there were a bunch of friends who were going, and I was like, "Okay, this is good." Like after college, I can go over there and then spend some time. And I just found CAT interesting because the logical reasoning data. I don't know if it's changed now, but LRDI, quant, and all. I just found that interesting. So just out of curiosity, I used to sort of solve that, and yeah, like it'll be a little bit of like I don't know. I hope it doesn't come across as arrogance, but it wasn't tough to clear the exam for me. So I was a fresher. I did clear it, and like just the fact that I cleared exam became like a deal in my college also. Okay, array, I don't think people realize what that percentile meant, but it was just like, hey, there is this exam for IIMs that this percentile this guy got, and got calls from AMS. And also actually when Doshi was telling that this next step is very critical, I hope someone had told it to me then, because I was like, yeah, wow, great. I didn't need to work this hard, and it's okay I didn't go to BITS Pilani. I'm getting into these IIMs, and yeah, I was not prepared at all, because I found this part interesting, which is giving the CAT exam. The part afterwards, which is just developing yourself in a rounded manner, building skill sets, learning about what is happening around the world, etc. I had done none of that. And like I remember, I don't think I spent too much time preparing also, because I was like, हाँ 6 call है तो मतलब I'll get at least 1 or 2 of them. So, yeah, I remember honestly, like I had given a lot of these exams just because there was interest, right? So CAT wasn't the only one I gave. I gave Snap, bolte the na usko. हाँ, I gave Snap, I gave ZAT. Most of these I had cleared, and then a little bit of arrogance also started to kick in, because I was like, "Acha, theek hai, then why do I?" Because I got a call from SIBM, SEM, HRD, and all, and I remember I had gone to the bus stop to board the bus to Bangalore. That time they didn't used to do interviews in Hyderabad. I don't know if that's changed. And then I was like, hey, I'm not feeling it. Like, I don't want to go. It's a little boring. So I came back home. So, like, that actually is a true story, unfortunately. And then my mom asked, "Ke, what happened?" I was like, "Nahi, I was just not feeling good." And then she was like, okay, you did a good job, because like if you're not feeling good, you shouldn't go." So yeah, that was the level of I think like I don't know, arrogance or whatever. Because I was like, I have these calls. Why do I even need to pay attention to all of this, right? So then yeah, the interviews happened, and then sort of reality hit, because I started to realize that hey, there is this group of people who actually are so much smarter than I am, and I had never been exposed to that level of competition or whatever you call it. And like yeah, I really like yeah didn't do well at all. Like I actually felt bad for the panelists, because I was like I probably wasted an hour of their time, and these are like 3 senior people sitting over there spending time, and what they must be thinking ke like kaise log aa jate hain, or whatever. But yeah, I don't know what happened. Somehow the questions they asked in Indore and Kozhikode and all were interesting. They asked me about sports in Indore, and I was like, okay, yeah. I don't know. It was just happenstance, and by luck, I sort of got through Indore and then Kozhikode. Yeah.
But I just want to bring about one learning here, which is around the fact that he took the cat because a friend suggested that he do that. This happens with a lot of us at different points in our life. Very important who you are friends with. I mean, cannot emphasize this more, right? Like, for example, if his friend would have said, "Ke yaar, acha bore ho raha hai, to let's go gamble somewhere or let's go party somewhere." I'm just thinking life would have been potentially different. I'm not saying he would have done it necessarily, but just the importance of knowing who you're spending time with, company, is so critical. Um, so, Touseef, I'm assuming that like the interview experience you're saying was poor. Like, did you know after every interview that yeah, I have done a very bad job everywhere?
Yeah, I think I was smart enough to figure that out. Yeah, like I'm a like huge Manchester United fan. Okay, so I think it was Calcutta or I don't remember which interview it was, and this was the question with which it started, and I was like, oh wow, great, I'll smash it. So, and then they asked. Like they asked me a question about who scored yesterday, and I answered that. And then they asked me another question about United, which I wasn't able to answer. And then just mentally, I spiraled from there because I was like, okay, if I can't answer about like Manchester United, then yeah, this isn't happening. And by the end, I myself was like, bus karo, matlab, it's fine. Let's end it gracefully and like get out of there. So yeah, I sort of knew after Ahmedabad and Calcutta for sure. Actually, no. Ahmedabad, I was a little hopeful. Calcutta, Lucknow, I sort of knew after that. Okay, there is no way they're good. Like if they take me after this interview, then like something seriously wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I had an experience similar to that during my Kozhikode interview where they asked me a few questions and I couldn't answer them very well. And the panelists actually asked for my ID card, saying that I want to check whether you are actually the candidate who's here. They're not making up this story. It's actually true. So yeah, I mean, what happens is that with a lot of really smart people under pressure, when you ask them questions, when there is a lot at stake, you end up making really stupid mistakes, like not being able to answer questions about Manchester United.
And I think it's not just smartness. I've realized this over the years that the more prepared you are, the more confident you are. So I hadn't prepared that much because I didn't realize it was that difficult. Like till then, everything was smooth sailing. So I didn't realize like the level of competition that exists in India, honestly.